Noah and the Great Promise. Long ago, the earth was filled with noise and shadows. People had forgotten how to be kind, and their hearts were full of violence. But there was one man named Noah who walked a different path. He listened to the quiet whispers of the wind and the stars, and he lived with a heart full of goodness. One day, a heavy feeling settled over the land as God spoke to Noah's heart, telling him of a great change that was coming to wash the world clean. God gave Noah a monumental task. "Make yourself an ark of gopher wood," the voice commanded. Noah began to build a massive wooden vessel, 300 cubits long and 3 decks high. He worked from sunrise to sunset, coating the heavy timber in dark protective pitch. Every beam was placed with care, for this ship would be a sanctuary for life when the rains began to fall. "I will bring a flood of waters to the earth," God said, "but I will keep you safe." God told Noah to gather 2 of every living creature, 1 male and 1 female, and 7 pairs of the clean animals. From the smallest beetle to the tallest giraffe, they came from the forests, the plains, and the mountains, drawn by a mysterious call to the great wooden door of the ark. Noah's wife, Zara, helped him prepare for the long journey. Together, they gathered grain, fruit, and hay to feed all the guests. When the last of the animals had entered, Noah and Zara stepped inside. The air was filled with the sounds of breathing and soft rustling. Then, with a sound like heavy thunder, the Lord shut the massive door, sealing them all safely within the heart of the ship. Then the heavens broke open. For 40 days and 40 nights rain fell in sheets that blurred the world. The great deeps of the ocean burst upward, and the waters rose higher and higher. The ark began to rock, then lifted gently off the ground, floating above the disappearing hills. Through the crashing waves and the roar of the wind, the great wooden vessel held steady, a lonely island of life on a vast gray sea. The rain finally stopped, but for 150 days there was nothing but water. God sent a warm wind to blow across the surface, and slowly the flood began to subside. One morning, the ark gave a soft shudder and came to rest on the rocky peaks of the mountains of Ararat. Noah looked out at the endless horizon, waiting for a sign that the earth was ready to wake up again. To test the dry land, Noah opened the window and released a raven. The black bird circled into the sky, flying back and forth over the retreating waters. It was strong and wild, finding no place to land but returning to the ark's roof to rest. Noah watched it glide against the clearing sky, knowing that the world was still deep beneath the waves. Next, Noah sent out a gentle white dove. The first time, she returned quickly, finding no dry branch to perch upon. But 7 days later, Noah sent her out again. In the evening, she flew back to the window, and this time she carried a freshly plucked green olive leaf in her beak. Noah's heart swelled with joy. The trees were growing again, and the earth was coming back to life. When the ground was finally dry, Noah called his family together. His son, Japheth, helped him clear the heavy beams away from the entrance. The air outside was fresh and smelled of wet earth and new grass. "It is time," Noah said, his voice echoing through the quiet halls of the ship. They stepped out into the sun, their feet touching solid ground for the first time in many months. Behind them, Zara and her daughter-in-law, Adah, led the way for the animals. The pairs of creatures began to pour out of the ark, leaping, flying, and running into the new world. Lions stretched in the sun, and elephants trumpeted toward the valley below. Everything was new and clean, and the hillside soon hummed with the sound of many voices and beating wings. Noah's first act on the dry land was to give thanks. He built a simple altar of stone on the hillside and offered a prayer to the Lord. The scent of the offering rose into the clear air, and God saw Noah's faithfulness. In his heart, God promised that he would never again send a flood to destroy every living thing, as long as the earth remained. Then a magnificent sight appeared. A brilliant rainbow arched across the entire sky, its colors glowing against the retreating clouds. "This is the sign of my covenant," God said. "Whenever the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my promise." Noah and Emzara stood together on the green hill, looking up at the beautiful bridge of light, knowing they were part of a brand new beginning.